a quick question first. How many of you have actually read the books? How many of you noticed just a little change to the book at the end there? Just a teeny change. Well, I'm sure you got some questions. So do I, so let's ask them. First up, you know him, Ronald Moore. Meryl Davis, up next. I do love him. John Bell. John Bell! Right next. Please be kind to him. He's rather shy. Richard Rankin. She looks like a princess tonight. Sophie Skelton.
Ooh.
Our Jamie, Sam Hewen. Ladies and gentlemen, the star, Katrina Balfe.
Yeah.
Hi.
You were all Southern then. Hi.
Hi, y'all. Okay, they prepared them backstage, if you're wondering. That's not tea. It's not tea. All right, Katrina and Sam, you first. So this ended with the incredible scene on the boat. Can you talk about shooting that? Did you know ahead of time that there would be no sound, no dialogue, and there would be a song over that? Katrina?
No. I'm glad I cried for 2 days. No, we never know any of those things, but it's cool. But I think it's a real introduction to Stephen Bonnet and to how. Yes.
Oh, he's so misunderstood.
Sam, what did you think about it when you saw it?
Say what?
Sam, I said it to Sam.
What? Sorry, was the question?
Sam, hi. Welcome to SCAD. What did you think of that when you saw that there was no sound
Stephen
from
Bonnet?
you? No, when you saw that scene with the music.
It's to be honest, what I thought when I saw Katrina in the scene. Obviously, I'm outside being beaten for 20 minutes, but what I could see is Katrina and actually Ed Spielers or Spielers, however we pronounce his name.
Nobody knows how
No
to
one
say
knows.
his
If
name
anyone
yet.
can let us know. But it was an incredible performance by them, and extremely haunting. And I think well done, Katrina. It was fantastic. And Ed, he did all right.
He's fantastic.
All right, so Ron and Meryl, talk about why you made the little change from the book with the rings.
About the rings?
Correct.
Yeah, in the book, it was the other ring that Bonnet took, right? But thinking ahead, for those of you who know the books, we started talking about, wow, are we all friends here? Do we all know the books? Okay, so this is not a spoiler.
We can just say it needed to be noticeable.
It needed to be noticeable later, which ring was which, and the plain gold band wouldn't be noticeable as like, oh, that's clearly my mother's ring, whereas the other one clearly would. So that was kind of why we made that change.
Now you've got it.
Wait, whose mother?
Wait, he took your ring?
Oh, God.
God, that guy.
All right, now the use of Ray Charles' song, tell me about that decision.
In the script, it was America. Oh, it was always America the Beautiful, but it was a piece of score, and then we were in the editing room, and now the mists of time are sort of unclear on whose idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I took credit for it at some point, but it might have been Matt Roberts who came up with it. Somebody in editing, because we were sitting in editorial watching the cut, the writers and the producers.
It was someone with a beard.
It was someone with a beard. Came up
That
with,
rules
hey,
us
let's
out.
do Ray
Basically
Charles.
anyone on the show.
And once you added a vocal to it, once it became not just an instrumental, once it was a vocal piece, then it felt like the only way to really do that justice was to then drop the sound from the live action and go with the piece. And it just like carried you into this other place. So hopefully that was successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think at first we were a little shocked sitting in the editing room, but there was kind of feeling of like, welcome to America, Jamie and Claire. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just like welcome, it's like, welcome, guys, this is going to be crazy. And it was kind of a holy crap moment.
Did you like it? What'd you think? All right, so John, this is for you. So there was also a new cast member in that pub scene at the start, and he was there with you, but he ended up getting cut out from that moment. Can you reveal the actor and tell me why he was such a challenge to work with?
A challenge to work with?
Was he a challenge to work?
I work with Kat and Sam.
Listen up, young one. Behave.
I like him.
No, he was an absolute pleasure to work with.
Tell the good folks who it was. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've had the pleasure of...
I think he's going to walk past this stage.
That's
any
what I'm
minute,
thinking.
just
I'm like,
wander around
when is he
and
going to
then-
turn up? So I had the pleasure of working with Dewey, who plays Rollo, who I can tell has already stolen everybody's hearts here. He stole mine when I first met him a year ago now. So yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. And there's some stuff coming out where you will understand how I just came to find this dog.
Did you
For the super fans.
Did you dye your hair the same color as the dog?
Yeah, I did it to match his eyes.
I like it.
But you do have a special ring on.
I do, yes. So I don't know if it's news, but I just turned 21.
Happy birthday
Hence the whiskey.
Happy birthday to
you.
Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you. Yay! So this was my present from my mum. We decided we wanted
This festival?
this whole festival. No, this beautiful ring I'm wearing just now, and it tells a story. Unfortunately, Rollo can't be here tonight, so I'm wearing them on my finger.
Aww.
Rollo's in quarantine right now.
Wait, what's wrong with Rollo's brother? Because there's two of them, but we only ever use one of them.
We don't talk about whiskey. No, we did. Initially, we thought we would need both, kind of like Lassie, a dog and a backup dog, because one dog wouldn't be able to do everything, and so
refuses to say its lines.
Yes, exactly. Or like Dewey, he sleeps all the time. So we brought two brothers, Dewey, and Whiskey. But it turned out Whiskey just wasn't quite as big as Dewey, and we thought Dewey might be a little ferocious, but it turns out Dewey's like the most laid-back, sleepy dog
Dewey
of all
is
time.
way too goddamn nice. I mean, you saw at the end there, he's supposed to go, "Rrr," and, be really angry, and he's like, "Oh, hi. Oh, there's pirates here to kill us all. I'll go lick you."
I think he takes after the actor.
Nice but dim. I know. I mean, no. I'm joking.
I feel, Ron, you should definitely do the voice of Dewey from now on.
I like doing the voices. I'll just dub them all.
Oh, hello.
All right, as great as this first episode is, it suffers from a great ailment, and it's called the lack of Roger and Brianna-itis. Excuse me, known cure. When do we see you two? How long must we wait?
Couple years.
Couple years.
I mean, I haven't seen the final cut of any of the episodes, so maybe not at all.
You're not in it at all.
Yeah, we've been replaced by Rolo.
Yeah, it would seem so.
Ron's doing the voice.
I do a pretty mean Roger. Yeah,
You
I
do.
do a good
What's your Brianna like?
Do you do a Roger? Come on, Ron.
Come on, let's hear the
Oh,
Roger.
you know.
Go on, Ron.
No, all my Scottish accents sound like the Lucky
Fargo.
Charms guy.
It's funny because so do all the Scottish actors.
You're slightly outnumbered here, Katrina. I'm not. I wouldn't take other.
All right, you kids. Now, how can you say how we first come to see you?
On the television.
On the television.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like, I don't know, the 18th of November, if my maths is right.
Is it?
No,
the
you
18th?
don't,
No, it's
you
not.
don't have to
maths
give me
is
a
wrong.
literal.
I'm not good
No,
at
you
maths.
took it literally, brother.
When's the premiere?
No, how do
No, I know what you mean.
Okay,
So
fine.
it's episode 3, I think, is the first. Am I allowed to
In the
say?
course
Yeah.
of time, we will
Yeah, episode 3.
reunite the audience with Roger and Brianna
Okay.
in the 20th century. We will catch up to them and where their relationship is, and perhaps like visit other members of the family eventually.
Sophie, where's Brianna's head at? Where is she? Sophie, where's she at, Brianna? And especially in terms of how she feels about him.
Well, at the beginning of the season, obviously Brianna is still dealing with the sort of aftermath of letting her mother go back. She's essentially become an orphan in that respect. She kind of went from having 2 parents to 1 to 3 to none. So it's been pretty intense for her. So she's changed her life a lot. She's now studying engineering at MIT. She's having a sort of long-distance relationship with Roger, which is quite ambiguous at the beginning in terms of sort of how much of a long-distance relationship they've been having. But yeah, you may or may not see them reunited at an airport. And then, yeah, it just kind of goes from there. But it's, you know, the season sort of follows that typical Roger and Brianna pattern in terms of as soon as they get close together, they get torn apart. So
Yeah, and it's mostly
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Brianna's fault. It's usually Brianna's fault. I mean, Roger's there, he's committed, he's totally devoted to Brianna. Any complications that arise, I'm sorry, you're looking at me like you want to kill me, Sam. I'm just saying that it's all give from
Can
Roger.
I just say, we have the phrases here, so don't
Yeah, that's
mess.
why I'm moving over. That's why I'm moving over
Talk
this.
about being outnumbered.
You mess with one, you mess with all, okay? Cool.
What are your intentions?
I just want to say right now, while you're there, that my intentions towards your, pretend daughter are pure, honest, and of love. What say you?
I doth approve.
Sam, that reminds me, I've been meaning to ask you, when Richard first joined the show, were you worried that you would no longer be considered the show's biggest heartthrob?
Can I just throw a spanner in the works here and say that Rolo is going to be the show's biggest
Yes,
heartthrob?
Rolo is the biggest heartthrob
So-
on the show.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm already nominating Rick for James Bond, don't you think? I think he's the new Bond.
What do you mean, no? It's not your question.
Wow.
Sam is giving a heartfelt, honest, this is why. It's not your place to say no.
No, I'm not.
Get out! Just get out!
Sorry, I'll pay you later. Lynette.
Sorry, back to
Sorry,
you,
back to you,
Lynette.
Lynette. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sam, you're not mad at me, are you? You're not mad, are you, that I asked you that?
Me?
yeah.
No. Oh, no. No, just speak to her next time, all right?
Yeah. I'm going to go to Katrina next. All right. All right, Katrina, so Claire makes such a big sacrifice by leaving behind her daughter and her life as a surgeon to go back to the 18th century. How did you reconcile that decision in your head, knowing how ambitious and independent Claire is?
Wow. Well, I mean, the leaving of Brianna, I think, was a really hard thing to try and you know, understand in our sense. I mean, but you had to think of the time. You know, not that long ago when I was, you know, my dad, I remember talking to him, and many of his aunts ended up immigrating to lots of places all over the world, and they never saw them again. So when you're talking about the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, if somebody immigrated or if they left a country, it's a pretty big chance that they were never going to see them again. So in some ways, I had to think of it in that sense, that somehow that made sense to me. I don't know why. But in terms of Claire going back to Jamie and giving everything up for him, she lived without him for 20 years. She fulfilled her professional needs and goals in many ways. Brianna was grown. So this other part of her life that had been lacking, and that hole that she'd been living with for 20 years, that's what she had to go back and try and fulfill. So, yeah. I guess that's one. Sam's like
dig it.
giving this very
It's a good
funny
answer.
look, and I.
All right, Sam, I have a similar question for you. Now, I guess the best way to put it, let's say Jamie had a Tinder account.
Oh, sorry. Tinder camp, did you say?
A Tinder account, and in your bio it said absentee father, certainly a murderer, probably doesn't shower that much. I mean, what's left? I mean, is there anything else? I mean, you would swipe left like there's no tomorrow. So, and yet, so many women just find him absolutely irresistible. What is it about him that makes all of us want him so much?
Is that kind of hard for Sam to answer about himself or his character?
Maybe it's the picture, I don't know. Did he do a cock shot? I'm not sure. A what? I think...
Did you get it? He said maybe it was.
I think it's probably down to Diana Gabaldon's character. You know, I think it, you know... I've never been on Tinder. No, I think, you know, he's such a great character, and he's...
Can I just ask how many people are on Tinder right now Googling Sam Heughan?
Is there a Tinder category that says King of Men? Is that
I feel there should be, shouldn't there? Yeah. Why is he... What was your question, Lynette? What is your question?
I mean, it's legit. So on paper, he has a few strikes against him. I mean, like I said, absentee father. He is a murderer. He's penniless. Penniless, that was another one.
He beat his wife.
He beat his wife. Right.
I mean...
I would swipe right on that.
Ditto.
Like, what is the question? You would swipe right on that. You don't need to look at
I'm
the
sorry,
bio.
does right mean you're accepting them? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you like them?
Not that I don't use Tinder. I don't really know the rules.
Sounds like you do.
But I'm assuming it's that way. I asked John.
What do you mean ask me?
No,
I'm
I
a pure
asked
good
you.
boy.
Give him some credit, he's on Bumble.
To answer your question, Lynette,
Maybe he's a very good cook.
he's a very good... I think he's always... I'm trying. He's a great father.
Meryl, should you take it?
Look, Meryl, why don't you help me here?
I actually could. Can I help him out?
I think you should.
I mean, I think we're also looking at things, obviously, from today's standards. And yes, from today's standards, there would be certain things you'd be like, go the other way. But back in that time, I mean, Jamie Fraser is a very forward-thinking man for that time. And that's why he and Claire make such a great couple, because they're equals. And he's willing to see her as an equal in a time when people when men did not see women in that way, and that's what makes us love them both and love Jamie, that he adores Claire but also respects her and sees her on an equal level, and he's sensitive, and he is a great father. It is not his fault that he had to send Claire back.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
But that seems like a lot to put on a Tinder bio, though, Maro.
You sound, methinks thou doth protest too much. I feel like you're on Tinder a lot.
I'm not.
I'm swiping left when I see you.
All right. So, Richard and Sophie, this is for you. So, we have a saying in the United States, or maybe it's just in my household, and the phrase is doing the hibbity-dibbity. And when you say hibbity-dibbity, you got to kind of bounce to hibbity-dibbity. So, I'm not sure. Have you heard that phrase, doing the hibbity-dibbity?
I haven't. Is it like the hokey pokey?
This is so great, really?
Doing the hibbity-dibbity.
Yeah, that would be.
Doing the hibbity-dibbity.
Yeah, that would be sex.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of
I
that.
thought it was something
It's
really
not a very
like,
sexy term for sex.
It's really. I know it's not. Well, yeah.
Hey,
That's,
sweetheart, you fancy some hibbity-dibbity?
no thanks, honey.
That hibbity-dibbity last night was something else. Oh, that cabin had all the hibbity-dibbity.
so I guess you just set it up. Do you say that to her in the 4th episode? Something to that effect?
It's something to that effect, yeah. No, wait, no.
Oh,
what?
oh,
No, hang on. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Wait.
Can we take the microphone away now, please?
He can say it, but, you know.
Right.
What was the question, though?
Is this the discussion that you two have? Will the relationship get to the point where you could at least have the hibbity-dibbity discussion?
No.
I'd like to hope that after several years, the relationship can progress to the point where they might think about it. And things might heat up to the point where they feel that they're close enough and trust each other enough to hibbity-dibbity.
Okay, I'm gonna save this.
What do you
I
think
think,
about it all?
well, I'm gonna counteract you and give a serious answer. So, no, I think I think that's actually a really interesting thing about their relationship this season, and that we're talking about, you know, modern women and Claire sort of out of their time. Yet we find Brie and Roger in the 70s, and actually it's quite interesting to see that Roger has some quite seemingly old-fashioned values. And that actually, what you just asked is an interesting question in terms of that is something that gets between Brianna and Roger, because they have very different sort of ideas of what a relationship is and how it should or could progress. Yeah, so.
You're right. Oh, well done.
Katrina, I'll stretch it from there. One of the defining things about this show is the intimate moments between you two.
Is the hibbity-dibbity?
Is the hibbity-dibbity.
I'm getting on board with this now. I like it.
So, after all these years, when the script calls for a moment of sex, do the producers step back? Do they give you carte blanche to choreograph it? Or is there still a lot of... I mean, I'm being serious here. This is very serious. Are you given freedom, or is there still notes, awkward notes, like put your leg there and put your hip here? Do you have
Put your left
freedom?
foot in, put
Okay.
your right foot out.
No, we do not have carte blanche at all. You know, this is there's scripts, and you have to follow what's in the script. But there's always a discussion, and I think one of the biggest discussions we all have going into sex scenes is how can we make it have a point and a purpose. And I think, you know, we have that all the time with the writers and with the producers, because, you know, believe it or not, this is not softcore porn. We're making a TV show, and so if there's going to be sex, it has to be there for a reason. And it has to tell you something about where the character's at, or forward the story in some meaningful way. And we always have those discussions. I think if we stopped having those discussions, our show wouldn't be as good as it is.
Sam, did you want to add to that?
So in translation, we're always looking for different ways to have hibbity dibbity.
And believe me, some of Sam's suggestions are very weird.
Yeah. Never gets in the
Dead
final
wheel?
script. Yeah.
All right, Ron, this year, Terry Dressback, who happens to be your wife, announced that she will be stepping down from costume designer, which is really kind of sad. What was that discussion like, and did you get on your knees and beg her to just maybe...
It was difficult. Terry had put her heart and soul into the show for, a lot of years and lived in Scotland and committed herself to it, and I think had designed one of the best shows on television, Yeah. But there came a time when, Terry was tired and Terry had done all that she had to do and had said everything that she wanted to say and had decided that it was time to come home. And it was hard. It was hard on the whole family. She was living in Scotland. Myself and our children were living in Los Angeles, and it was just sort of the right time to do it. So, I as a producer, I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. But as a husband and a father, I'm like, yeah, please come home. So it was kind of like that.
All right, Meryl, what's the theme this year? How would you describe the theme going into the season?
I think we talked about the theme being home a lot and family, and the fact that certainly Jamie and Claire have never really had a place to call home. I mean, Claire, since she was a child, really hasn't had a home. Jamie has kind of had to be on the run. And we kind of talk a lot about home is where their hearts are. Like, wherever they are is where their home is. And that's kind of the theme of this time, that home will come to them wherever they are. And fortunately, their family does kind of follow them. And they're trying to set up roots in a new place, unexpected place that they didn't expect to be before. And it's just about how those two make a life together and kind of grow roots. And other people may or may not join them. And so we'll see. So I would say that's the prevailing theme.
Okay, just a few more, and I think we have to wrap up. We got a great news this year. 2 more seasons. Will you be true to the books? Is there any discussion of maybe splitting some up, maybe saving first half for a second season? What do you think?
Every year is different. Every single season we've approached in the same way, where we've been open to the possibility of combining books or splitting books, and we just sort of say, what is the best way to tell the story this year in this many episodes? And that's the approach that we're taking in season 5 and season 6. So, you'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we're always open to combining elements. You've seen in previous seasons, we've pulled some things from later seasons into earlier ones and waited to do certain scenes or certain certain lines of dialogue into later. We're always kind of fluid in how we do the TV show for versus the books. But we do have a commitment to the authenticity of the books, and we love the books, and we want to tell the best version of the books in a television series that we can.
All right, so we didn't have a lot of time to cover stuff because we had so little time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask you a series of yes/no questions, and raise your hand when you mean to say yes, and this applies to all of you. Y'all ready? Okay.
Oh, God.
Yes.
You're all playing as well.
Took a shot of whiskey before working. This is working on the set. Have you ever taken a shot of whiskey before?
Was that a question?
Ever?
Oh.
But I needed it. It was season 3, and it was,
You don't have to defend it. You don't have to defend it. You just have to do it.
Secretly or not so secretly consulted a Gallic dictionary. Secretly or not so secretly asked how to pronounce Gallic.
Oh, sorry, Russ.
I have chewed that word up so much. Okay. Asked or shouted to no one in particular, but how did Diana do it?
More, what was she on?
Oh, that's a good one. What was she thinking? asked Richard Rankin to repeat himself because his accent is so thick. Thought about personal errands during a scene when you should be thinking about the scene. What was that? What? Thought about personal errands during a scene when you should be thinking about the scene. No?
Never.
Oh, you're such professionals.
I'm always in the scene, in the moment, never
Okay.
thinking about anything else.
All right, that's impressive. Tweeted while you should have been working. Tweeted while you should have been working. Posted a response to a negative review online under a different name.
No, but we did have one day at work in season 1 when we were like towards the end of season 1. One day Sam decided he would read all the negative reviews from.
Oh, it's
it
so
was really
fun.
funny.
Amazon.
Although also quite mean.
It was.
But it was very funny.
It was a good day, yeah.
You read them on set? You read them to
Yeah,
everybody?
we took turns.
Just to us.
Yeah,
we
reading them out.
kind of just read them and laughed.
We should do it. It's like, what's the bad tweets thing they do on TV?
Yeah, it's like mean
Tweets.
tweets.
Kim
Yeah,
Alive.
bad reviews. It's great.
Oh, that's a good video idea. Okay, good. Spoke in a calm but very firm voice. Do you know who I am?
John Bell, ladies and gentlemen.
Always in a joking manner. Come on.
Finally. Did a few extra push-ups or sit-ups before doing a semi-nude scene. Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of Outlander!